the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. That's what we're talking about here on the day. Now, when we go into like the daily chart, you can see here, you continue to break down, losing basically every level, right? And we're coming closer and closer to our big inflection point. I posted this on Twitter for you guys here on the Nasdaq, basically around 17.47 all the way down to around 17.42. That's going to be your next major zone of support that you have to be watching. Basically, this little SR flip where you broke, you retested, shot back up in all-time highs, and that's where you're basically at right now. So you can see you have a little bit more range, as you can see there. You had a few retests as well, previous lows here on the day. You ended up breaking down, retesting, and shooting back down, and that's your story on the day as far as price action goes. Now we go into ES, get a better visual here as well. The S&P 500, you're going right down to the level we discussed yesterday. This is where you have a little bit of demand, what you're looking at there under your major level as well, 51.3. Slowly just breaking down. Your next level is going to be about right here, 5,000 flat. Also, do you want to go to the daily, highlight a few other things here. You can see this was your 2021, 2022, early 2022 high right there, which you broke below as well. And that's what you're looking at. That's the pain. That's what's taken into account. Now, also to going back into NQ, I want to highlight that as well. The same type of level there. When you zoom out, as you can see right here, 17,955. You zoom back in, and guess what happened? We talked about this yesterday. What was happening? Rejecting off that level and then falling down. Weakness, weakness, weakness. That's what was taking place there. And kind of that's what the story you're seeing. The trend is it is flipping now. This is not good. Okay. So again, those are the big warning signs across the board. And I don't like to jump to get bearish or this or that, but I'm not a fool. I will acknowledge when things start to really change. Again, we go to QQQ. You zoom out. You can see here as well, here on the 2 hour, the trend continually trying to flip, right? You have some support here. We actually should bring this level right down. Sorry, bring that back there. Let's bring that level right there. That's what you're looking at right about there. That's what you want to see, this little level locally. That's all you care about. It's actually, I'm trying to grab it. Sorry. Right there. That's what you're looking for. So around 421 is your next level. Under that, 417 locally. That's what you're looking at. Nothing else to really talk about. And that's where you're at. And those are your three next levels that you can, screenshot, take advantage of. Going into the S&P, SPY specifically. Again, we never even got the retest. We just broke back down. Nothing but weakness as well, filling that gap down towards 497.6. Those are your big levels. Now, looking at volume as well. We look at volume here on the day. The average volume tends to trend up whenever we're just trending. That's been over the past year, to give you a heads up. You look at volume, and volume is kind of stagnant here. Basically, we had some breakout volume coming into Monday and last Friday, and then stagnating volume around 70 million, just slowly edging us down. Now, I will say, you don't need increased volume in order to move in a direction. You only really want to see increased volume to give you an opinion on a reversal. If you're reversing the initial reversal or breakout, you like to see volume, and then that's really the main times, a reversal or a breakout. That's when you really want to see that for confirmation. So understand that. Also too, we go into price action. We look what's happening here on our red and green days. As you can see here, Thursday's been a pretty green day. So again, sellers are taking advantage and taking control on these days. These are signs you wanted to see. If sellers were really going to take advantage, they had to show up on the days when it mattered. And that's what they've done all week. Monday and Thursday, those are some of our best days. They've been turning red. So important to understand that as well. EdgePull's link is down below. You can check those guys out if you're interested on this data as well. So yeah, those are the big things here as far as the S&P. Clearly, you're breaking down. You're weak. This is the definition of weakness. There's nothing else to really discuss there. Okay. The DXY 30-year yield pointing in the same direction. The DXY was dipping, bounced back up. Looks good there as well for more upside. Risk off for sure. The 30-year yield trending up as well. No good signs locally there. The really interesting thing here, really quick, off subject, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dipping. You're bouncing on support near 6160K. Halving is tomorrow or the next day. So we usually get some dips into halving and right after. Now, do what you got to do, but Bitcoin halving dips have been some of the best opportunities. So again, I will be covering, giving you a heads up. You break below 60K, I could see us dropping down towards 52, 53K easily. But yeah, anyways, just keep an eye on that. We'll be watching that one closely. Okay. Now, let's also bring in our demand levels here. You can actually see here on Bitcoin that you're not making none of these. You're not having, you can see you have no support here, guys. There is nada. Nada. Just straight ill liquidity under 59.60K. So again, you have nothing there. That's what you have to be looking at. Also, too, we bring in that volume and what's really happening here on Bitcoin. Let's go to like the daily so you can see. You know, again, what I'll be looking for if you're actually going to bring, you see that volume, how it's definitely ramped up. We had a nice choppy, slow volume as we arranged here, which is not surprising whatsoever, right? As you're ranging sideways here, you can see that you're just getting choppy action, right? All throughout here. This is paramount, very important. Buyers and sellers are definitely stepping in. Very consistent volume here on the daily coming in fine. Even on the weekend, you had consistent volume. So definitely worth mentioning, worth watching as we go into this halving to see how this really plays out. Very important. We'd be watching very, very, very closely. Okay, so definitely interesting with what's happening there. I'm going into the S&P as well. We'll show you that volume as well. I don't do this too often, but I think it's important as we're getting this breakdown to see the differences of what's really happening. Now, to the upside, and this is also just for clarity, you know, it goes for both sides. To the upside, we would see spikes in volume on the sell side and then stagnation on volume, and we just push back up, right? And so you're seeing up and down, up and down, up and down. Again, here on the downside, very consistent with selling. This is what I've been saying. If sellers are going to step in, they're going to have to do it for an extended little period of time. It's not going to be able to do like a one-day thing. And that's what we were seeing back here when we were seeing that selling, right? It was like in and out, okay? So that's the big thing here as far as volume and what's happening here. You can see that we're coming into a major support here on SPY as well, right after that gap fill. Qs, very similar type action, so definitely be watching that. Okay. Now also too, this is Lux Algo. Their indicators are all down below. Use code OD40 if you want to get that 40% off. So make sure you tap into that as well. Okay, those are the big things there. Now earnings today, you had Netflix earnings. I think Netflix is slightly down. So Netflix's earnings were actually pretty good, in my opinion. So let's talk about that. Now you're dipping just with the overall market. I think like when you have a weak market, in order for a stock to get the bounce or move in that specific direction from earnings have to be fantastic. And you're just not getting that right now, right? But let's go over the earnings because Netflix is kind of proving to be a potential buy here. Netflix added 9.3 million subscribers. It says the gains will likely slow. If you don't know, they're also going to pause showing their subscriber count going into next year. Understand that. But this is, I mean, it's really important. We don't really think about it, but like, Netflix, 270 million global subscribers. I mean, they had that slowdown in 2022, but like, look at their growth. I mean, 2023 to now, I mean, 10% growth, I mean, more than 10%, obviously, but almost 20% growth, 2023 to 2024. During a recession, consumers are quote unquote supposed to be weakening. I don't know. Crazy, would be watching it, but Netflix is still doing very good. And when I say they're doing good, it's like in real comparison to competitors like HBO, Hulu, Disney Plus. They're one of the only companies in this space of streaming that's continually growing rapidly. So, you know, eventually we'll have to slow, obviously. But yeah, getting those ads out there and creating different streams of revenue was big. So Netflix long-term seems like awesome. But again, like if the market's continuing with pain and like, unless you get more earnings or you get a sign of a bottom on the overall market, maybe don't YOLO into Netflix. But yeah, also going into Netflix earnings, I love using this on Edgepool. It's probably my favorite tool on here. Just give you a heads up. Where's earnings right here? I mentioned this the other day, so maybe you watch the short, I don't know, but I try to post like short form videos too here occasionally. If you look at Netflix on the 5-day, if you go to the last year, almost all your movement over the past year has come after earnings. After earnings were reported the next few days, not the day after, but the next 5 days after, right? So very important to identify that earnings movement, like you don't get that much. It's a continuation after earnings are posted and how the market responds to that in the days coming and following, right? So really interesting here that Netflix gets such good moves after the earnings and after the IV crush and curse. So definitely be thinking about it. Watch it. Just something to keep your head on a swivel about. Now, stocks, right? You love stocks. We love stocks. They're our favorite, right? Also, too, before we go into stocks, I have to tell you about our sponsor of the channel, Moo. Check them out. My favorite broker, 2 I use. I'm actually in the process of getting a bunch more money transferred over there. I was doing a few tests, get everything going, getting more familiar with the platform for you guys. So I'll be able to go over more options data and stuff on the channel. I'm just waiting for all that to get settled. I've been using it for a while now, past like month and a half, but really excited about it. So link is down below if you want to support the channel, feel free. But yeah, we'll be with them for like at least the next year. So that's where we are. Going back into stock still. Let's go. Let's just run down. We'll get you out of here. We're already 9 minutes in. Jesus Christ. Let's jump into these. NVIDIA. NVIDIA, you went and filled your gap. No, you actually did not. You almost filled it, but this was your previous high right there. So it's interesting that you hit right to the tick on NVIDIA, then bounced today. NVIDIA underneath 840 will be really weak. So be watching that. But what I want to say right now is during this dip, okay, a lot of people, we wonder, do I buy this stock? Do I buy X stock? It's at all-time highs. Do I buy? Do I buy? Dips are like the opportunity. Like that's all. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not telling anyone to buy, but like for myself, it's my opportunity. So when I look at this, I get excited because I don't think semiconductors are going anywhere. I don't, as much as you think AI might be a bubble, semiconductors are not. So whatever, do what you got to do. So NVIDIA, AMD, like these AVGO, these are all going to be giant opportunities for myself. So do what you got to do. I'm going to post and tell you guys what I like. But yeah, like if we dip down to 680, God bless. Like it will be a Christmas miracle. Like come early, right? So anyways, NVIDIA, short term, yeah. If you get below like 824, you probably have some downside to incur. But again, I still love NVIDIA as a long term. I'll be looking for longer dated positions. The day trading will be nice if you continue to break down past some of these levels, especially on QQQ. But what I will say though about going too heavy on shorts, like the past 2 days, I've been favoring shorts, but you're coming into a massive level here, right? Understand that we had illiquidity from 504 down to 497. There was nothing. The SPY, right? We said targeting 497 right down here. Qs. We were targeting filling the gap down to 420, 426 and 420, right? That was a target. We followed the plan. But I mean, unless sellers are just that strong, which I'm kind of have some PTSD with sellers because they haven't showed up in literally like 7 months. If they start to show up and push us down, then awesome, like take advantage. But again, like there's no reason to rush. There's no reason to YOLO here, guys. Like the steps will continue to come. Okay? Just understand that, like they will come, like they come every single month. Opportunities arise, but so when we get too greedy, we rush into positions. That's when we usually get screwed, right? So I'm like, what can I say? I just tell you what guys what I do, tell you what guys what I like. Apple started breaking down today as well, coming into our next level around 165.7. Long term, guys, I love. I'm trying not to talk about long term stuff, guys, because like. I know a lot of you guys do not care about long-term names, but yeah, Apple next support is down here 165.75. Microsoft, this was the big play on the day. I mentioned this in Discord. Beautiful. I did not signal it out though. Probably my biggest regret. But yeah, I'm so sorry, Discord. I'm literally so sorry. I'm literally so sad about this one. I posted it this morning. Oh my God. 834 right at market open. You dip down. I was like, dude, retest to 410. It's an easy short. I just didn't post it in the trade ideas. Again, I posted in an option chat and a voice chat. I apologize. This was so tough. Anyways, you broke down, you retested, and you just got destroyed. So Microsoft, we mentioned here on the channel. Sorry, guys. So sorry. But you have a lot of support down here, so be careful. But anyways, that's what we're looking at there. Meta announced a lot of AI stuff today. Really bullish, in my opinion. That's why you were moving up for the first half of the day. And then obviously when the market dips 200 points, you might dip as well. I think Meta is interesting. A lot of their AI stuff is going on. NVIDIA, everyone's optimizing all their chips for their AI platform as well. So yeah, I think Meta looks really good in the long term. Under 504, it's a short. Obviously, I'm not getting crazy here, but it's something you have to keep on your watch list. AMD, as long as again, AMD was really simple here, guys. You had two levels. 2021 highs and your key level of 174.7. That was it. Okay. We broke that level. Like I said, you're breaking retest. You broke, retested, shot down, right? Shot down. Not talking Boeing, right? Pause. So yeah, that's your big thing there. More weakness likely, but I will say you're seeing a lot of these hedge funds start to say, hey, AMD, it's an opportunity. It's a buy. Just saying, not me. The hedge funds, don't attack me. What can I say? Big name, big player, special plays, special traders. What can I say? But those are my favorite names, guys. I talked about Amazon yesterday. There's no real big changes there. A lot of these names are getting like back to support. Google is like proving to be a monster. Congratulate Google. You finally did something. You have my respect. But those are my favorite names. What I'm watching. If you have questions, comment down below. You're in a little bit of a tricky area with SPY and QQQ. I'll have more updates on Twitter, so make sure you're following there. But yeah, that's what I'm watching. Have a good one, traders. Love you long time.